Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ride around the world.
I'm Mick Claridge, and I'm going to ride around the world on my bike.
My son, he gave me advice at the start of this ride, and he looked at me and just said, "Dad, don't be a moron."
Let me do my animal signal to gain their respect.
How's it going, Sally?
Yeah, I'm alright, Mick. How's it going?
Worse than that bit in Lord of the Rings where they go into the top and the spiders in the tunnel. I'm just hoping there's a spider at the top of this one to kill me. Freezing.
And I failed. I moroned up the ride.
Cavisto has managed to put himself back on top after Daly has been leading for most of the year. With only 4 races remaining, including today, it's looking like it's going to be a tight fight to the end. Can Callie nab himself another championship? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 17 of the Sunday Drivers' Cup, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. I am Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Ryan Bauer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We already visited Oulton Park once, but a different layout. That was months ago at this point, so in case you missed it last time, let's head to our track guide. Welcome to Oulton Park Circuit. This British track to the southeast of Liverpool is a staple in the UK club racing scene, but has also hosted series as high level as Formula One a few times. At least with a small asterisk next to those events since they were non-championship rounds. The history and the lore of the venue is as unique as the layout itself. But that layout is more than just the international circuit this place is known for. An incredible 8 different versions can be run, but they all range between 1.5 to 2.5 miles in length. It's not exactly a long lap around here. What it lacks in that realm, it more than makes up for in bumps and hills. On top of that, Oulton Park offers some very fast corners, so you certainly won't get bored. Turns like Island Bend, Knickerbrook, and Druids can be utterly fearsome depending on which chicanes are at it. But even the slower corners often involve blind crests or kinked entries, making passing a very difficult prospect. In modern day, the place is mainly visited by touring cars, GT cars, motorcycles, and Formula 3. But here on iRacing, it's quite popular with the vintage community. Needless to say, this is a track that carries on the British tradition of fast, old-school style circuits that challenge and thrill drivers. It'll no doubt be a blast for both our competitors and fans today. Well, DJ, with only 12 turns and just 2.5 miles, you'd think this would be a simple one, but this is a diabolical track.
Yeah, it really is, Joe. And running the no chicane layout around here, it's really going to make the back half of this circuit particularly tricky. Look for some of the best overtaking opportunities, though, to be relatively familiar. Down into Knickerbrook and into Lodge Corner, probably going to be the best ones. But Knickerbrook, while it may present a little bit of a good opportunity to overtake, courtesy of the draft coming out of the long run from Shell Oil's corner, it's also going to be a high commitment corner as well. Going to be very, very tricky to get done. Watch also for some drivers to maybe get it wrong coming through Cascades. Very easy to pick up a little bit of understeer through there as they blast their way through Lakeside and down into Island Bend. But altogether, this is a track that in order to get a fast lap time around, you've got to have a lot of commitment to be able to get it done.
That is for sure. Now, looking at the points championship, because as I mentioned, it is Cali Cavisto at the top. It's only by 4 points, mind you. Alderding could still catch up, but as it has been for most of the season, Cali and Tom have been leading the way. Still some very tight fights as well for fifth, though. Look at that, all the way down to eighth position, just 7 points between Oral, Ellett, Lopez, and Sander Wara. And then you've got Van Rassel and Brett Ride rounding out your top 10. We have a teams championship. How's that sitting, DJ?
Well, it's pretty close at the top as well, with Positive Delta Motorsport only holding on to a 5-point advantage over Wampy Motorsport. Then we have iRacing Netherlands kind of in an island unto themselves, about 40 points behind and 40 points ahead there of Spirit 14 Racing, who are also in an island unto themselves. Kind of sus racing, same story there. But we do have a nice little battle starting to shape itself up for 6th place, with SimTech Racing and TGR separated by only 9 points. Another very close battle between 2G Parts and Equipment Racing and Dairy is Scary Racing, as they only sit about 3 points back, and then GIF Racing rounds out your top 10.
As for the Nations Cup, it is right now Finland and Ireland in a tight fight, as you'd expect, because, well, Cavisto from Finland and Daly from Ireland are basically leading the way. The Netherlands, though, have had a lot of very fast drivers contributing as well, and have often been able to keep touch just through numbers in this series, with the United Kingdom a little bit of a distance behind that. Other than that, really the only close fight that we've got is, you could maybe say that Bulgaria and South Africa have something to try and fight for there, as well as Spain, of course, with 2 points between 5th and 6th position. But they're starting to spread out here in the Nations Cup. What are they up against as far as the race itself goes here, DJ?
Well, Joe, it's going to be our relatively traditional format here for round 17 of 20, a 16-lap distance race here. A setup is going to be fixed, which means that the only real difference between these cars is going to be the driver behind the wheel. You do get some bonus points available on the day, which is for pole, fastest lap, and then a special one, a point for the hardest chargers. So we will keep you abreast of that over the course of the race here today, the 16-lap race.
Did hear a lot of discussion during the end of the warm-up that some of the drivers seem to think that the slipstream is worth a fair bit around here, considering that these are not downforce cars. Kind of makes sense, as if you could time it right behind whoever you race behind. Cali Cavisto right now has yet to set a lap, though, so as he comes around what looks like it is a flyer, let's see if he can finally put one on the board, because probably doesn't want to try and get that hard charger bonus here.
No, I certainly wouldn't think he would, as it looks like he's going to come across the line there. Is Cali going to be able to put it in time? Yes, only 4th fastest. A little bit surprising. He finds himself about 0.5 of a second off of the pace there. And I've got to agree with what the drivers were saying, Joe. Because we're not running the chicanes around this circuit, we are basically looking at a series of relatively long straightaways here, set up by some high-commitment corners, as Michael Ellett now able to jump to the top of the charts.
Tom Daly having some connection problems in the meantime. We saw him there, unfortunately disappearing for a brief moment, but he's just behind Cavisto by about 0.04 of a second. Emmanuel Bacchus, who we're on board with, sits in 7th, about 0.8 behind the pole of Michael Ellett. And you can see how much they're really having to wheel these cars, having to seesaw back and forth at the wheel around some of the faster ones. And unfortunately, that's that lap over for Amanala, so he'll have to come around for another one a little bit later, as it looks like he's going to park it coming up to the Hilltop Rise. Vedinov, in the meantime, comes around, another driver that has yet to set a time. He is one of the most active drivers here, and about to be tied for that 3rd spot on the most active drivers with Alvaro Rodriguez. Both of them on their 50th race here today. Rodriguez currently sitting in 13th.
Yeah, and Svetnov has had a very, very good season. Remember, taking a win a little bit farther back earlier on in this year. So good runnings there for him. Not going to be really getting into the benefit of the draft here, but I'm glad we're riding on board. There, you can see just how high commitment Knickerbrook is there without the chicanes to break it up. And you saw the amount of opposite lock that Jordan really had to put into the car to be able to get that thing pointed the right way. That is going to be a massive flashpoint, both in qualifying here over the next 7 minutes or so and in the race itself.
Alderding just took 2nd place away from Sander Wara, so that was interesting. Very tight between them. 1,000th of a second. And in fact, Brett Wright is not much farther behind the pair of them as well. So basically behind the pole sitter, it's extremely tight. Also, for those curious, ahead of Zvedanov, the two that are the most active drivers, Arturo Davila has 51 starts, and Sander Lara has 57 himself. He is the most active driver over the course of the Sunday Drivers' Cup history. Zvedanov looks like he finally puts one down, and that'll be good enough for 13th. Usually a little quicker than that, though, so in these final 6 minutes, we'll probably want to keep trying. We only are missing about 4 cars that need to put a lap in as we now ride with one of the few Americans in this series, Tim Lancaster.
Yeah, Lancaster currently sat a little bit farther down in the standings in about 21st position, but he's going to get a nice little pull here up in front of him as they work their way down through Shell Oil's corner. Looks like he's going to be really down to the inside. That's the line that you want to take through there. Take full advantage of the banking as down to the inside. It's sort of reverse progressive banking, as it were. It tapers out up at the top a little bit, so it's harder to go around the outside, but a good run there for him. He'll be able to pull up here close behind that car in front of him. We'll have to see how he is able to do, as that's going to be Arturo Davila there in front of him. He's going to be able to get the draft off of.
Van Rassel improves to 11th on his most recent lap. Lancaster's also pulling along Zvedanov, who looks like he's going 0.7 of a second quicker. So this is going to be a massive improvement if he can keep this up. But there, as we look back on him, yeah, he's actually almost looking like he's losing time here behind the American with no place to take his speed.
Well, and Lancaster actually trying to pull to the inside here of Arturo Davila, going down into Lodge Corner before they go down the hill and then rise back up again. Excuse me, that is down into Lodge, as they're going to be able to come up the hill. Let's see what these times are as they cross over the board.
Zvedanov still manages to improve somehow, and he goes up into 10th. Imagine if he could actually get a clean lap, and I think that's what he's trying to do now, is he's backing off to get himself a little bit of clean air amongst these two. See who else is on a flyer right now, and looks like maybe Xavier Lopez is getting a good one going here as he's improving. Tim Lancaster actually is so far looking pretty decent, but we're going to look at the Spaniard as he sits in 15th right now, and he's actually pulling a little bit from Bacchus in front of him.
Yeah, starting to pull away there a little bit, and that will be good. That'll help, I think, actually, Emanuel Bacchus to be able to get a little bit more of the gap to build up. But we ride on board with Javi Lopez here. Oh, big slide, and around goes the car in front. That's not the way you want to be taking Druids.
Manella is done for that lap. We'll see if he has enough time to get back out and put another one in, as he is still up in 11th place right now, off of Lodge and through Deerleap. He's still tracking to improve by a fair bit here, Will the 9. Let's see what the time is. 44.5. That is 0.9 of a second faster. That's all the way up to row 3.
That's a good run for Javi Lopez. They're very pleased with that, and may get another run here for him as he continues his way around, and he's going to have Zegalar up ahead to maybe get a little bit of the pull of the draft off of, although he's about 1.5 seconds up the road, and that's going to discount the lap there. Javi Lopez running a little bit wide.
That's unfortunate there. So still waiting on Rantanen, Mitchell, Oral, and Albino to take laps, but only Rantanen and Albino are out on track right now. It does look like everybody is in the sim, so not sure why we're not seeing the 69 and the 4. Rene Zegalar currently in 17th. Looks like he is improving on this lap. Behind him on the charts, Geddes also looking like he might find about half a second. So we could see things at the back of the field really switching up in these last 3 minutes.
Yeah, we certainly could here, and as you said, 3 minutes to be precise there, about 2 minutes and 48 seconds left to go on the clock. We ride on board with Zegalar. He's not going to have anybody to break the draft off in front of him, but he's still trying to do everything that he can to really push himself around here. I'm not seeing any green sector times for him, so clearly pushing the air out of the way himself, not what he wants to be doing, but working to see what he's able to do as he climbs out of Deerleap, out of Druids right now.
Time is winding down, and not seeing many improving on these last couple laps. It's 15 minutes, and usually we do see a little bit of a drop-off of those who are able to find time here at the very end. Zegalar down and across, He will go quicker, a 45.7, but that doesn't gain him a position. He stays in 18th. Merrimon goes faster, though. He's up to 11th now. We're still waiting for Svetanov to improve on his 44.8.
Yes, we are. We're still also waiting for a time here from the positive Delta Motorsport number 36, Kalle Ratsinen, as he works his way through Shell Oils right now. As we said, waiting for a time here for Kalle. Not seeing anything. It looks like on his last lap he was able to go out there and put in some time, but unfortunately that was discounted. He ran a little bit wide, and so he's got pretty much it all to play for. He may get one more crack at the apple here if he's able to cross over the line in enough time.
Tim Lancaster up to 16th with his latest lap. From there, let's see who is also looking good here towards the end of it as we watch Rantanen's onboard through Clay Hill and Water Tower into Druids. It's a very tricky double apex right-hander, fast corner with a blind exit. You can see you can barely look over the crest as you come off the corner, so you have to have that car lined up perfect. Does look like about a 0.2 of a second improvement if he can keep this up, but he's a little bit off the line coming down through Lodge, so I'm not confident about the 36 here. Let's see what this holds.
Let's see indeed, as Rantanen's going to come across the line of 146.121. Only good enough for 20th place, but he will get one more shot at this here, Joe.
I guess the important thing really is that he actually got a lap that counted that time for him. Michael Ellett, our provisional pole sitter, just started his final flying lap now, so we'll see if he can actually get another lap. I should point out that the 2 car has only set a single time that is counted so far, so has not really been all that consistent about running clean laps out there. See, looks like Tom Daly, who has not been known for his great qualifying of the last few races, is only down in 8th. It looks like he might be able to find something here at the very end as we ride with second place Stefan Alderding. Daly's down to a 44.4. That's going to bump him up to 5th.
And I'm seeing a couple of purple sector times here from Alderding, so he may be able to get his way up a little bit farther. This could be just enough for the iRacing Netherlands driver to be able to move their way up forward and into pole position. But that is far from assured here at this point. Alderding just continuing to work his way around through the fearsome Knickerbrook corner, able to get that relatively right. He has a quick little breather here as he comes up over Clay Hill and Water Tower.
So Alderding needs to make up a massive 3.5 tenths, and this is his last chance to do it. Drivers are now taking the checkered flag here, so this is it. He's right up to the edge. He's using everything he can out there. Can the 51 improve on this lap? He's got a tow up ahead of him with Rodriguez just pulling him along. He's not hindering him at this point, so it's looking like that is going to be a net positive. He's improving by about a tenth from what I can see, but that's not going to be enough for the pole. He comes down to a 44.2. That's still going to be about 0.2 off Ellett.
And Ellett is going to be able to hold on to that pole position, or so we imagine here. I've got a couple of more drivers coming across the line here. Pedro Merrimon, one of the last that we see. Looks like Javi Lopez running a little bit wide there as they go.
I don't think Merrimon's going to go any quicker here, although it could be possible. No, he does not improve. Behind him, Xavi Lopez also looks like he is on a slow lap, and he abandons it. Amanal Abacus, I think, might be our last one able to take a time. He's about 0.3 off of his quickest. While he will complete the lap, I'm not confident, and it looks like actually that one does not count. Everybody has completed from here on out. Our grid is set, and Ellett gets that bonus point for the pole position. Alderding couldn't get close enough, but he will start on the outside of the front row. Sander Ware will start from 3rd, as Brett Ride will be P4. Tom Daly and Kalle Kavisto will be on row 3 together, and there's only 4 points between them in the championship right now. That could be spicy. Lopez will start from 7th, and Melvin Toon in his first ever race here for the series starts from 8th. Victor Olivier will be 9th. Mackenzie Mann starts from 10th.
In 11th position, it's going to be Pedro Merrimon, followed by Jordan Svetanov with Amanul Bacchus and Patrick Alders in 14th. William Van Rassel starts off in 15th, followed by Tim Lancaster with Kalle Ratsinen and Peter Reed in row 9. Row 10 will be Renee Zegalar and Alvaro Rodriguez.
Last two to set times is David Geddes and Arturo Davila. Stephen Orrell, Bruno Albino, and David Mitchell will start from the back of the field without a qualifying time. As we now get ready to roll out here, we should have all 25 drivers out there if what I'm seeing is correct, but it's only this and 3 more, and we are done with a year-long season. Pretty good conditions out on the track without much wind, and only 81 Fahrenheit on the track itself. So as we wait for them to get going, should be just a few seconds left. I think we're waiting on Lopez there on row 4, excuse me. And he's the last one that needs to be gridded up. Then we are good to go here for round 17 on the Sunday Drivers' Cup. And he's certainly taken his time. He does have about 2 minutes total, but we're a minute into it now before he is out of time to grid up on this race. And there he is. So everybody's set to go. The engines will now start to rev as the lights come up. And it looks like it's green flag out here at Oulton Park. Off the line, Ellett is decent. There was a big blink, though, from Sander in that 3rd position. And behind them, something happened to Zvedanov and Alders. They're not going anywhere. I think there may have been a wreck back there. In fact, we have a wreck into the first corner. 2 cars off. Looks like Marimon and Rantanen potentially.
Yeah, I'm also seeing Javi Lopez involved in that as well, so he is going to be around. As we've got more cars going around. Tom Daly looking like he may be involved in that. He's dropping down through the order, Joe.
They do have a spare car if they need it, but this is going to set him back in a big way. Cavisto still running in 7th, so he hasn't lost out. It's been a messy start here at Oulton Park, but Ellett leads, Alderding 2nd, and Brett Ride is now in 3rd. Did we have something happened?
And Ellett just went around, Joe, at Shell Oil's corner. That is the number 2 out of contention there and falling back down through the field.
What is happening on this first lap? That was our pole sitter who looked almost impervious up there, and now he's going to have a very hard day. Yes, Sander was involved, it seems, in that earlier incident as I was musing there just before we had that wreck with our pole sitter. Alderding's now the leader, rides up to 2nd. Melvin in the 86 on his very first race in the series is into the podium.
My goodness gracious, sometimes, Joe, when it rains, it pours, and that is certainly starting to come down here for these drivers. But, all right, now it's the chance to settle in a little bit, get everything together, try to be able to see what you are able to do, and maybe push your way ahead here if you are some of these drivers. But it was a very, very chaotic start, as you mentioned.
And good news for fans of Tom Daly. I do not see any damage on his car, so he's able to try and fight his way back, and he's already on the hunt for that one. He just moved into 12th as we watched a little bit up ahead here. This is his teammate battling into Old Hall as he flies out ahead of Melvin, just in that 2nd place. So the team's championship being held up, ironically, by the man that's not been fighting for the championship up here in that number 70. They're only about 1.1 second behind Alderding right now.
Well, Joe, that's why it's important to be able to have good teammates here. And now the question's going to be is if Brett and Melvin decide to maybe work together a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a little bit of bump drafting here down some of these long straightaways to maybe be able to play that out here a little bit. We will have to see as they go, trying to work their way around right now, trying to see what they are able to do and trying to push as hard as they can here at this stage in the race.
Now, we have some replays. I have no idea if we have the start with Zvedanov here, but I'd love to see because I never really got to look and check what exactly happened there. If maybe he didn't get the car in gear or what. There's a lot. Maybe we won't go now because look at these battles coming over a hilltop. In fact, that is Zvedanov who's kind of falling backwards. He's a lap down because of the early incident, but this train is being led by Livieri, who's 14th, and that's all for position on down besides Zvedanov.
Yes, it is, and so that is going to be bringing them down in the order as we focus back up here on the number 57 right now. A little bit of smoke there in front. I believe that's Mackenzie Mann and maybe Renee Zegelar getting into problems, and Manula Bacchus in trouble as well.
Yep. And his car is smoking. Somebody off to the left-hand side as well. That is Renee Zegelar. Oh, wow. Well, things, and oh my goodness, he is just pouring smoke as he tries to drive it back. That is quicker, but he's trying to stay out of the way now. Obviously, if you drive it back into the pits, it'll go faster than if you ask for an automatic tow. Okay, we've got a replay, and yeah, car just did not go. Collected at least one or two others. Everybody else was heads up enough to be able to avoid.
Yeah, and that's a very, very hard thing to try to get around. I wonder if that was some sort of mechanical issue there for him or something like that. That just looks very, very strange. Here it is coming down into the corner. Daly just ran a little bit wide, able to gather it back up, and then there you can see contact with the number 7, just kind of a little bit of a turn over there for him. I don't think he realized Daly was coming up to his outside.
Yeah, that was Sander there in the 7 that ran into him. And then now Michael Ellett was all on his lonesome, and nobody to cause this one just into the corner. Too hot, and around it goes. Great job keeping it from hitting the wall, but man, that has got to be a very bruised pride right there.
Yeah, and I think that really was just a case of a little bit of too much speed into the corner on some cool tires, bringing it down. Now, this is what we saw happening a little bit earlier with Mackenzie Mann. Catches the grass. That's going to send that car spinning around, and it spins out there and just catching. Oh, that is a big hit into the wall.
Yeah, major damage for both of them. You could see why the engine was left smoking. Unfortunately, the other car was not able to go. Zegelar was a separate incident. You saw him spinning there afterwards. By the way, of our championship rivals, Kavisto's up to 4th. Daly has managed to get into 7th and is continuing to try and work his way forward. Melvin in the 86, still pressurizing Brett Ride, but hasn't been able to get a mistake out of him.
Hasn't been able to get a mistake out of him here quite yet, but as we work on lap 4 right now, just keeping up that pressure is exactly what he needs to do, Joe. And the more the 86 is able to be in the rear view mirrors of Brett Ride, trying to fill that up, the more it's going to maybe elicit a mistake, even just a little bit of a run wide. Victor Oliveira doing the same thing here to Alvaro Rodriguez up in front of him.
This is for the 10th position. You can see how much these cars lean. There's just such a compliant suspension, but Rodriguez is not interested in fighting. He lifts on his way up to Island Bend, and so Victor is going to be able to move into 10th because of that.
Yeah, he's able to move up into 10th and now works his way through Shell Oils. Here we have, looking out the back here of Brett Ride, this is the best run we've seen from Melvin Tunian here, coming down into Knickerbrook. Thought about going for the move, and he is going to back off there a little bit in the 86. I think that was a heads-up move. He didn't quite have the overlap to get that pass done.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's probably the smartest thing you could have done in that situation. It is so hard to go side by side, and we are still very early in this race. We're only a quarter of the way through this thing as we come back to Tim Lancaster. In the meantime, also making some daring looks up into Druids with Van Rassel just in front of him. This is for a top 5.
Yes, it is. Let's see here if Lancaster's able to get anything off of Druids. It doesn't look like it. He's just going to have to stay in line here through Lodge. Maybe try to get a little bit of a run. That looked like a little bit of brake smoke in front of them. I wonder if that was from Cali Cavisto. That looks like to be the likely culprit there for him.
It was indeed, locking him up just down to the apex, still sitting in 4th in front of him. Van Rassel holds on to 5th for the time being. Wonder if they're going to get caught up by Tom Daly behind them, though. Tends to have pretty good race pace. His last few laps are in the 44.8s. And, yeah, about a 44.8 for Tim Lancaster in the last one. So they're running close to his pace.
Yeah, running pretty close there. Ooh, little bit of a moment there for that number 30 of Willem Van Rassel, catching it a little bit wrong there on the outside of Cascades as he tries to be able to get it in together. Both drivers there, Van Rassel and Lancaster, looking like they were picking up a little bit of dirt on the apex there of Island Bend. Looks like here, unfortunately, Lancaster just loses a little bit of time coming through Shell Oils. That's going to hold him off a little bit, I think.
Now, I just realized one of the teams that's really going to enjoy today in the Teams Championship, if things don't change, is the iRacing Netherlands cars, because Alderding and Van Rassel are currently 1st and 5th out there right now, so that'll be a huge haul as we continue to ride on with the UGX Sim Racing driver of Melvin Tuen, still sitting in 3rd and still trying to see what he can get out of Brett Ride, but standing up to it, Brett is making sure that he does not leave an opening despite having a few close moments. There was a little look from Melvin there on the way up into Lodge Corner. Let's see who gets the better run out of it, though.
It looks here like Melvin's got a pretty good go. He's going to have a look to what will be the inside here of Old Hall. This can be done, can be a little bit tricky from time to time, but he is going to bring his way along, muscles his way out of the way, and Melvin able to get the move done.
Could be an over-under here from Brett Ride, but not enough momentum. We jump back to Victor Oliveira. In the meantime, still in the 10th position, but is caught up to Rantanen now after he's left Rodriguez behind. Rantanen with a slow exit out of Old Hall, heading into Cascades. Ooh, this is a tough one to try and make passes. Not a very slow corner, but Rantanen's not going to fight it. He lets him through. Oliveira now into 9th.
All right, so Oliveira's starting to put on some moves here as we get closer and closer to the halfway point in this race. They continue to work their way ahead right now. Here, a little bit farther back in the field. Oh, that's Alvaro Rodriguez getting a little bit of the commentator's curse. He's trying to get a woed up before the time they get into Shell Oils. Well held there for him.
Yeah, that usually means day over if you're going out to the outside of Island Bend, because there is a wall right there, and it's a high-speed portion of the track. Brett Ride has lost out to, oh no, we covered that, excuse me. Melvin got by in the first corner. I had already forgotten, but he's not dropping off apparently. He's still 3/10 behind that number 86. So the fight is basically switched around instead. A little bit off the apex there for the 86 machine, and Brett's got a good bit of momentum now.
Yeah, he does. He may be able to get a little bit of a fight back here as they go. Let's see what he is able to do. Not going to be able to send it there down into the right-hander of Lodge Corner. But again, we did see that there was a pretty close running here for these drivers as they came up over the hill. Looks like he's going to have to go around the outside later on to the binders. Think maybe Melvin just let him go there a little bit.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Brett Ride back into second, but around the outside of the same corner. And the very next lap, down through Denton's and into Cascades. A little bit of a peek from Melvin. Decides against it, maybe looking for the exit here. Heading along and towards Island Bend once again, along Lakeside. And no, not going to be quite close enough for the time being. I can report that Tom Daly is catching up to Tim Lancaster in that 6th position. If he gets by those two, he'll be only 1 spot behind Callie Cavisto, and that's really what he needs today, DJ, to limit the damage in the points chase.
Yeah, exactly. Ever since that off there early on in the running, he just needs to focus on damage limitation here at this point and try to be able to go and get as many points as he can. He does have a little bit to try to run up to Lancaster, and he's also got to worry about Stephen Orrell behind him. Orrell looking particularly fearsome there as well. But, excuse me, this is the battle here between Brett Ride and Melvin Tuen that we continue to watch this battle up for the final 2 podium positions.
Yeah, it almost looked like Melvin was again thinking about it on the way into Knickerbrook, but just decided it's not quite worth it yet. We're just about to the halfway point as we had a change for position, I think, there. Renee Zegalar losing out to Pedro Maramon. Well, using up all of the track and then some out here as they go way wide on the exit of Old Hall. Maramon chasing Lopez for 19th, and that is Mackenzie Mann just ahead of them in P18.
Yeah, it is. Both drivers there falling off the edge there a little bit of the circuit, and that's going to throw them around. A little bit of a blink there in the back for Renee Zegalar. He's been having connection issues all day long as now they work their way through Island Bend. Not really looking like anybody's going to be able to get a line here into the corner at this point. Maybe a little bit of an advantage here to Marimon coming out of the corner, but that's going to be about it.
So we watch them head up towards Hilltop. These cars not quite fast enough for that one to be a problem, but you get in some of the very fast cars without downforce, you can get very light over that rise, and then it's back down the hill into Knickerbrook for this quartet. And again, they are really pushing the limits of this track. You got to be careful. It's so easy, DJ, to clip the grass and lose the car.
Yeah, it really is, and that's the biggest concern here for these drivers. If you get a little bit too far, particularly on corner exit, I mean, we saw it here coming through Druids on that first lap. You just get a little bit of understeer. It picks up to the outside. It's enough to throw you off. But here comes the number 9, looking particularly fearsome, trying to make a move down into Lodge.
Tries the long way around, but that doesn't quite work out. So as they come on to the main straight once again, Lopez could have a chance on man into the first corner if he isn't attacked by Merrimon behind him. Oh, they are going to make contact, though. Will he be able to split the middle as Merrimon, cannot find an opening. He's going to be stuck up.
Yes, he is. He's going to be jammed up in there. Good idea not to go for the split in the middle, but contact there between the two, and that's going to be all 3 of them. And that's Mackenzie Mann spun around, and that is going to be Lopez around as well.
So Merrimon eventually gets through. Zegalar makes it. He's the only one that didn't get damage in that. I'm not sure how much is on board Merrimon, but whoa, Cavisto. I was kind of watching this out of the corner of my eye. He had been gaining on the battle for second and is now already past Melvin quite quickly.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy pass, about as easy as you please there for the number 1 machine. He's now up onto the podium. He's going to have his eyes set ahead on Brett Ride, though. I don't think it's a matter of time here before he's able to overtake that Wumpy Motorsports driver.
Also, Tom Daly is still catching up to Lancaster, but is, I think, just about there now. In fact, riding on board with the man behind him, Stephen Orrell, who is up 15 spots. He didn't set a qualifying time here today through the inside of Lancaster. No fight from him as Daly now moves up into 6th.
Yeah, Daly moving up into 6th now here at this point. Little movement there behind as they go. And here comes Callie Cavisto like a train with a full head of steam, not being content with P3. He wants P2 coming down into Knickerbrook. He's got it done.
Almost had to give the other spot up as well, Brett Wright, as Melvin had a whole bunch of speed behind him but couldn't take it anywhere. So Cavisto into P2. It's 8 seconds up to Alderding. And it looks like he is running, well, no, not actually a better pace. It's about the same pace, so I don't think he'll be able to gun down that 51 unless the lap traffic proves to be a serious problem for Stefan.
Yeah, I think that is about it. And Stefan Alderding about to come up behind Javi Lopez. That could get a little bit tricky there for him. Lopez has been particularly quick around here, but we keep our eyes focused on the battle right now. Stephen Orrell, Tim Lancaster, and Callie Ransonen here running line astern. Looks like that number 4 thinking about a little bit of a look down into Old Hall. Not going to go for the move, going to stay into line here.
Oh, but it was a very poor exit. Loses the speed. Lancaster cannot fight it, and Orrell is going to move into 7th. That's now 16 positions up. I get the sense that Orrell's going to be our hard charger today.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty hard for anybody to beat that up 16 positions. Willem van Rassel, the only one who's relatively close at 10. Excuse me, David Mitchell, actually the one who's closest there, up 13 on the day. So some pretty impressive stuff there for these drivers, taking advantage of a lot of the problems that we saw at the start of the race.
Attrition almost always is a factor here at Oulton Park, so I'm not too shocked to see a number of drivers really gain spots by just staying out of trouble and keeping with it as we come over a hilltop. Once again, Lancaster chasing Orrell with Daly starting to now pull away, but Daly's got about 1.5 seconds to get up to Van Rassel in front of him, and then it's another 2 seconds to get up to newcomer Tuin in the 86.
Yes, it is, although Daly's internet connection still giving us some problems here. A little bit of back and forth as that is Orrell able to get around Lancaster there. Lancaster trying to fight back a little bit, but he's going to get things wrong. That could open up the door here for Michael Ellett, potentially. The 73 is going to slam that door, but Ellett not taking no for an answer.
Going to once again try and show himself a little bit. So is Peter Reed, but no pass, at least for this time, heading through Lodge. Down to 6 laps to go here, and it's starting to dwindle. We're definitely well into the latter half of the race. Melvin has not dropped off of Brett Ride, but despite both of them getting past, they are back to where they sat before. They have changed positions at least a couple times in this race, but they are glued at the hip.
Yeah, they really and truly are, and I'm a little bit surprised about that, Joe. I would have thought Cali Cavisto coming in between them would have separated this pair out, but really and truly, the 70 and the 86, as you said, glued at the hip, no difference in between the two.
I'm starting to think that Daly might have a chance to catch up with them before all is said and done, because Daly's now within 7/10 of Van Rassel. So he's clearly got pretty good speed here. It's just the question of whether or not he has enough laps. Here's a go from Melvin. Where does he take it? To the inside. No defense from Brett Wright as they approach Knickerbrook. And this is going to take some bravery if he wants to stick this one out from both of them. Frankly, still a little bit of an overlap. Does Wright give it up? He does, and lets Melvin go. Nice use of that corner for the 86.
Yeah, very nice use of the corner for the 86, but Brett Wright not done with the fight yet. He's going to have a look down to the inside here of Druids. Now that's going to be Melvin going a little bit defensive, but maybe running a little bit wide. Check up there for the number 70. But what this battle is doing is this is allowing here for Van Rassel and in turn Tom Daly to just catch up behind him.
Yeah, they are right there now. You can see them in the same pictures as they come through the penultimate corner, and then it's over Deer Leap. Melvin ahead of Ride for now, just on the podium. Behind them, Van Rassel's only about 7/10 behind. It was 2 seconds, not too many laps to go. Daly's within 6/10 of a second of Van Rassel. 5 laps left now.
5 laps left to go. Here comes a poke out for Brett Wright. He's going to be able to get a nose ahead as they go down into Cascades. He's going to be able to hold it out. Yes, he is. As Melvin Tuen is going to come in there, but running wide is Brett Wright. That is going to allow for Van Rassel to catch back up into the equation and maybe get a move done here on the Wampy Motorsports driver.
He's going to be able to get to the inside. It's a question if they want to go side by side through Island Bend. That's a big no. But now Brett Wright has his teammate behind him. How hard does he fight when there's a championship on the line for the 67?
Yes, they are trying to be able to get his way up forward right now. Is he going to be able to get by right now? That's the question. If he can maybe get a move done here on Brett, if he can get a move done on Van Rassel, that could potentially open up the door here for his teammate. He's certainly going to look to get the move done on Van Rassel. Too wide coming down into Cascades. I think Brett Wright's going to have to lift out of it, and indeed he does.
And that lift has cost him because now his teammate is going to get through. Tom Daly into the top 5. 2 wheels in the grass, though. In the meantime, for him, he manages to hold on to it as they fly into Druids, trying to limit the damage that Cavisto can do. Now that he's taken the championship lead, he is still up in P2 and has absolutely dropped the rest of them by about 5 seconds.
Yeah, he's dropped him like a bad habit here as he works his way up forward. But there comes the 67 of Tom Daly, trying to find a little bit of a move on Willem Van Rassel to be able to move his way up into P4 right now. Going to get a little bit of helping at the draft here as they work their way down into Old Hall. Narrower line. I thought that may have been a little bit of an overtake, but he's able to carry some great overspeed there around the outside. An amazing move from Tom Daly.
He's got the inside into Cascades. This is what he wants, and that's job done. Daly into 4th. He started from 5th position today, so he lost a lot from that incident early on with Sander. You got to wonder what could have happened, and he's going to have to defend. There's a back out from Van Rassel. Thought about it and then decided doesn't want to try and ruin his race. And instead, for his troubles, he's going to have his teammate come up his inside. That is Brett Wright of the Wampy Motorsports number 70, who doesn't have the pass completely done yet, but certainly started it there in the Shell Oils.
Yeah, he certainly started it there. He's going to have a little bit of an advantage here as that track does curve a little bit coming through Britain's, and that should be to his advantage. It looks like here comes a move from Tom Daly as well, not taking no for an answer, coming down into Cascades, and that is 2 positions gained through Cascades for the Wampy Motorsports team.
Wow, I was not expecting that from Tom. Usually he makes really measured decisions in his passes, but man, that was brave stuff. I guess he knows it's 4 laps to go and he can't really look a gift horse in the mouth. As soon as he sees an opening, he's got to go for it now. Next up the road, his rival, Cavisto, but it's 7 seconds. 3 minutes, that's not, or 3 laps, that's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, coming through Lodge Corner, side by side between Brett Wright and Van Rassel. Van Rassel can't keep the speed up. Oral chasing behind them in the yellow.
And it looks like having to go a little bit defensive there is Brett Ride, worried about the attack from Van Rassel from behind him. He's going to slot back into the line there as they go 1, 2, 3 down through the corner. Oh, and that's a very wide run there for Van Rassel and Oral. But now here comes Oral trying to maybe look down to the inside through Denton's into Cascades. And again, he's going to fall back into line.
Man, this battle has not only been going on for a long, long time, but Twin and Ride have got Van Rassel and Oral now caught up in all their drama. Oliveira, unfortunately, has ended his day early as he's had an off coming through Knickerbrook and decided that was enough. No, Ride just got tipped around by Van Rassel, and there goes Oral just sneaking through into fifth. Great heads up by the 4 car to find an opening between those two, suddenly erupting in chaos.
Yeah, massive chaos there for those drivers. Here is the replay of that. Yeah, the little tip there from Van Rassel. Ooh, talk about some narrow margins from Stephen Oral.
Wow. Unbelievable. So great job there by the 4. That gets him 5th place and a handy gap. They're going to have to catch back up to him by about a second.
Yeah, this may just be held on for him. We will have to see, but the battle's still on between Brett Ride and Willem Van Rassel. You can see just how close they are on your screen here at this point. The leader crossing over the line here at this point. 2 laps to go for all of them.
Still, it is Alderding leading the race right now. Just started that 2 to go, as DJ mentioned, with about 10 seconds over Cavisto. Daly 7 seconds behind. Yeah, we could probably write that one off unless we get a mistake from the top 2. Really, the fight has been back here as we watch guys like Brett Ride, William Van Rassel, Tim Lancaster, Peter Reed, all fighting for spots amongst the top 10.
Yeah, everybody just scrabbling here to try to see what they are able to do, trying to gain those valuable positions, both for that Drivers' Championship and the Teams' Championship as well. iRacing Netherlands here in that number 30 for Willem Van Rassel. Great run there coming out of Cascades. He's going to have a little bit of a look here coming down into Island Bend. Is he going to be able to make it work? Ride trying to hold it around the outside.
Wow, I thought Ride was going to slide out because it looked like he caught some of the grass on the way in. Somehow, wheel to wheel through Island Bend, does not wind up in an accident, but Lancaster gained a lot of time because of it himself. Reed also in there, about to take the white flag pretty soon, as Alderding just has a couple corners to go. There he is on your screen now.
Yeah, there is Alderding coming around now, going to the white flag as Barney the Flagman getting ready to wave it in the air here for Stefan Alderding. He has really been in command of this race since we saw that error early on from your pole sitter.
There it is. White flag is now out. Alderding with 1 to go. And I'll have to check the stats to see if and how many wins he's had this season, because not usually one of the ones that we've been seeing when Cavisto and Daly are still around, as Lancaster and Van Rassel still trying to hassle Brett Ride. And a little bit of an off for Lancaster. He catches the car before it sails into the barriers. And surprisingly, Peter Reed not able to overtake because of that little slip up.
Yeah, and that was very, very close then for them. I thought for sure that was going to be a little bit of a coming together there. Got to give credit to the number 73 to be able to hold that on. And we now ride on board with David Mitchell right here, another one of the Wappy Motorsports drivers trying to come up behind Alvaro Rodriguez.
Ooh, and Tuin just lost the spot to Oral, it looks like, as he made a mistake into Cascade. So Stephen Oral up into 4th, 19 positions gained for him now. But this is the man that has been on the point for the majority of the race, basically inherited it on lap 1 and said, all right, that's fine enough for me. I don't have to take that pole position. I've got the race pace, and has just been running away from everyone.
Yeah, he's been doing an absolutely fantastic job just keeping things calm, cool, and collected. And a 10-second gap over Cali Cavisto that's been growing a little bit. Let's not throw that out the window. This has been a great drive from Stefan Alderding.
Just one more actual corner to go here, breaking into Lodge, and then he has to keep it flat to the floor through Deer Leap. Stefan Alderding is going to take the victory here in round 17, keep himself alive in the championship, even if it's just a minor gain, but a win is a win for the Dutchman.
A fantastic run there for Oulton. We've already been singing his praises, and here comes Cali Cavisto.
Daly's had a problem.
Oh my goodness!
He's had a problem, and he's falling down to 6th. I'm not sure what happened. He was sitting in 3rd, and suddenly disaster at the very end. His teammate might give him the spot here. Let's see if Brett Ride's going to lift. No, he's not. Daly is only 6th in the end.
Oh my goodness gracious, everything going to naught there for Daly. Joe, let's go back and take a look here at the replay. Did he just get this wrong coming out of the corner? Let's see, this is coming down into Druids. Yeah, he just ran it wide.
Oh my goodness. Does he get the wall? Yes, he does. Oh, if he had stayed off the wall, he probably would have been okay. Just sends it around to the 360, but the car is drivable. And the best he could do was 6th place. 16 cars wind up on the lead lap here in today's race with a number of DNFs in the process. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ride around the world.
I'm Mick Claridge, and I'm going to ride around the world on my bike.
My son, he gave me advice at the start of this ride, and he looked at me and just said, "Dad, don't be a moron."
Let me do my animal signal to gain their respect.
How's it going, Sally? Yeah, I'm alright, Mick. How's it going? Worse than that bit in Lord of the Rings where they go into the top and the spiders in the tunnel. I'm just hoping there's a spider at the top of this one to kill me. Freezing.
And I failed. I moroned up the ride.
Welcome back once again here to Oulton Park as we just watched round 17 of the Sunday Drivers' Cup. Stefan Olderding takes the win over Cali Cavisto to try and keep himself in the hunt in that championship, even if it is a bit of a distant hope. Stephen Orrell wound up on the podium in the end, coming up from 23rd, failing to set a qualifying time. Melvin Tuen wound up 4th, and Brett Ride was P5. Tom Daly looked like he should have been on the podium, but on the very last lap, An off track and a hit in the wall sent him down to 6th. Van Rassel was just behind him in 7th, and Lancaster finished 8th. Our pole sitter, we didn't really cover him much, but he did climb back up the order. He wound up in 9th, and Alvaro Rodriguez was 10th.
In 11th place, it was Callie Ratzenit, followed by David Mitchell and Arturo Davia. Manu Labakis was able to be 14th, followed by David Geddes with Pedro Marimon and Javi Lopez. Lopez finishing 1 lap down. Then it was Renee Zegelar, Bruno Albino, and Peter Reed rounding out your top 20.
From there, it was Vedinov 21st, Sanderwar 22nd, Oliveira first of our DNFs 23rd, with Man Alders also behind him. Unfortunately, not able to make it home to the checkered flag. So we now head to interviews, of course, with Callie Cavisto, our second place finisher. Callie, a second place on a day when you've just recently taken the points lead, and your main rival winds up 6th. Even though it wasn't a win, this has got to be a day that feels pretty good.
Yes, exactly. I wasn't expecting even a podium tonight based on the practice and qualifying. I thought that the podium is out of the reach, but as we saw, everything can happen, and I just kept my cool and then managed to make a couple quite nice moves, and here I am.
Absolutely. So we have 3 rounds left now. You extend your points lead by a decent chunk, not enough to really feel super safe. But what are your emotions coming up to these last 3 races, especially with them so spread apart from one another? Do you feel confident? Do you feel nervous?
A little bit nervous, yeah. I know, everything can change upside down, like in a blink of an eye. So I just need to focus on remaining races, and hopefully everything goes well. And there's also a personal stuff happening in my life. My second child is coming within a month, so I might have to skip a race, but we'll see.
Well, congratulations. That's a good reason to skip. Other than some congratulations on that, is there anybody that you'd like to thank for today's podium?
Well, just in general, I want to thank you guys for commentating or keeping this broadcast, and all the guys in the league, and special mention to my teammate Michael Elliott, who was actually quite fast tonight. He taught me some good lines during the practice, and maybe, yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you.
Callie Cavisto, the Finn, taking second out here, with the winner being Stefan Alderding. DJ has caught up to the man that has taken his 3rd win of the season.
Yes, I have indeed. Stefan really just keeping everything calm, cool, and collected out on track when others had some problems around you. Talk me through that race from behind the wheel.
Might have an issue here with Stefan's mic. We'll see if we can get that worked out here in a moment. Would love to hear from him, especially about his emotions having taken that lead over. Stefan, you got a copy? Not sure that we're going to get Stefan here, it looks like. So a bit unfortunate that we're not going to get to talk to him here today after that was really an immaculate run up at the front. So a bit of a disappointment. Oh, there we go. Now we got him. Go ahead, DJ.
Well, Steph, you heard me ask the question there for you. Just keeping it calm, cool, and collected while everybody else sort of lost their heads around you. Talk me through that win.
Yeah, it was a little bit easier than I thought, to be honest. Especially after all the mishap on the last race. But it was surprisingly going well, actually. So what can I say? It was very nice, but a bit lonely.
It looked a little bit lonely there up for you. Did you have any moments of sketchiness? I mean, you basically just controlled this race. We unfortunately didn't feature you nearly as much as we wanted to.
No, to my own surprise, there were no sketchy moments, actually. Maybe when we had the 2 lap cars a little bit, but not really anything of concern, actually. So it was pretty straight on. So very happy. Bit surprised also.
Well, happy and surprised. I'd call that a good feeling to be walking away with. Next time up, though, on November 20th, we head to Texas. How do you think that's going to go for you?
We will have to see. I don't know the track so well, so I need to put in some practice there. And I'm quite sure the others won't let me go that easy on the next one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stefan, we wish you all the luck in the world when we get there. But as for today, who would you like to thank?
Yeah, of course, Sander and everybody, the whole group in the Sunday Drive is a great group. Once again, I want to apologize for my antics on the last race. I completely messed up and messed up races for others. So once again, sorry for that. Yeah, and I would say let's go to the next one.
Well, we'll see you at the next one, and congratulations once again on the victory today, Stefan.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for the great comment, Terry, that you guys always do. Thanks.
All right, Joe, that was your race victor, Stefan Alderding.
Which is going to wrap up our interview. So a big thank you to the Sunday Drivers' Cup for bringing us on to cover this season. And a thank you as well to the team today, DJ, Ryan, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, our website, and our merchandise store. We've got links in the description below just in case you need. And don't forget to subscribe while you're down there to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment. As was mentioned, the Texas Road Course, the old Texas Road Course, is going to be next time out. That'll be interesting. Sunday, November 20th, we have a bit of a break before we get over there, and that'll be at 5 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to check out our other broadcasts that we have listed here. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.